Hello, 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 my lovely radio listeners. It is 9 o'clock and time for the 9 o'clock meltdown with your host, Simply C.
Band's just trying to make it, just trying to work it.
I was good. I am your host, Simply C, and I'm sitting in the studio here with Alan Sparhawk and Gaelynn, and they're members of Murder of Crows. So why don't you guys tell me a little bit about how the band formed?
Well, it formed, I don't know, actually almost a year ago when I saw Gaelynn playing with Charlie Parr at a farmer's market thing over in Duluth, and I thought she was a pretty good player and had a good ear, and around the same time as that, as seeing her play, someone from the Teatro Zuccone, or the Zinema, or whatever the complex down there, they asked if I would do a live score to a silent film called The Penalty, and I didn't want to do it alone, so I thought Gaelynn would be a good person to try it out with, and because I don't know. I just remember just kind of thinking violin and immediately knowing who I should call.
All right, sounds good. Now, you're both in successful projects already. Gaelynn, you're in Snow Barn, and Alan, you have a couple projects going on, LOW and the choir band. Is this kind of just another side project for the both of you, or is it pretty serious?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I'm, as a person who has a lot of side projects, I'm of course going to argue that there's no such thing as a side project, and or whatever. But I don't know. I don't really look at things as a side project. I've lived in this community for over 25 years, and I've kind of gotten to know a lot of people, and I've gotten to play music with a lot of different friends and people who've come and gone over the years, and I don't know, to me it just seems natural to have an idea and call a friend and try to figure it out, and sometimes it sticks to the wall, and it's something that people like, and it's something you can do more with and maybe do some recording or whatnot, but I don't know, to me it's just all living and making music. It's not a side thing. Obviously LOW is the thing I've been doing for the longest, and it's paid our bills for most of that time, and so there's that, and I've sort of been given the opportunity, having lived in this community, to sort of have the freedom, and I think everybody sort of does have that freedom here, and that's kind of why there's a pretty vibrant music scene here, I think, is that you can put an idea together and do it, and there's people who are eager to help you with it, but I don't know. Well, we started working on this movie soundtrack thing and realized right away that we had a certain sound that we sort of would gravitate toward, sort of more of a loose, kind of arrhythmic, a little bit ethereal, a little bit kind of floaty interplay between kind of violin and layers of violin and the baritone guitar, and I don't know, we found that we could improvise and play off of each other real easily, and kind of give each other room in sort of a complimentary way, and so I don't know, I think fairly quickly we thought it'd be fun to do something beyond just the movie soundtrack thing, so we booked a couple shows, and so we've played around, and it's been fun. Every place we play is a little different. You have to kind of flex a little bit here and there with depending on what kind of place it is, but it's fun. We're usually pretty pliable.
Sounds good. Now, one of the songs, When We Were Young, has really an improvisational kind of feel to it, and the whole CD does too. Is that kind of what you were aiming for?
Yeah, well, that's how we
Yeah.
play.
Kind of, basically. A lot of times we start with a loose structure, or, start with a song and then kind of go into something else, instrumental, after the song ends, and that's kind of how we do a lot of what we play.
Okay,
Yeah.
so it's almost like you start off with a main chord and a riff, and then kind of build.
Sometimes, yeah.
or-
I don't.
Or
It's
just
really,
rough idea.
yeah,
Chords moving.
Yep.
Sometimes it's a melody.
yeah. Sometimes it's a melody. Sometimes it's a set of chords. Sometimes it's a song. It just kind of builds on itself. That's the key, I guess, is that a lot of times it starts out smaller and ends up more complex at the end. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Well, too much fun. so it's very much so a mash of talent together. Obviously, Sparhawk, you know, Low and the other bands that you're in, very talented people, and I believe you bring out their talents as well. And Gaelynn, just phenomenal violinist over there. So does one follow the other when you guys are playing, or is it just kind of, let's go and see what happens?
Well, I don't know. It's hard to describe. You know, I mean, when you have a little bit of a structure, you already know kind of what a song is going to do, and if it's something that is repeating, you know, you have that to hang on, and from there, it's really sort of in the moment. You know, I mean, there's sort of a bunch of decisions you can make at any given moment, and depending on how conscious you are of that, it sort of kind of defines where the music goes, and a lot of it, you know, is by playing off of someone else. There's well, for instance, when we did the movie soundtrack, there was Gaelynn was kind of improvising over this E minor sort of drone that I had going on, and she played this melody that jumped out to me, and we sort of were able to isolate that and say, okay, well, this is a little bit of a theme, and we applied that then with the movie. It was sort of a theme that would go for a particular character, a particular reflection that this character had, and you know, off of that, then you can play. You know, you can break apart the melody. You can stay in that key and improvise. You know, because the melody goes over a drone, it can be, you know, the drone can be very free. You know, with the harmonic nature of that, and then the fact that we don't have anything that's really specifically rhythmic, you know, that's keeping a specific time all the time. You're able to kind of float in and out of that idea, choosing rhythm and choosing no rhythm. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I mean, there certainly are songs where I'm playing two chords over and over again, and she's just kind of jamming over it. And anyone who plays a little bit of music kind of understands that can be a very simple thing, and you can pretty easily start doing that once you've kind of spent a little time with an instrument, and there's something very exciting about that, and sort of enlightening about how music can do that. So I don't know. It's not that mysterious, really. Most of the time, a lot of time it just has to do with being patient and letting the music develop and play.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I guess I have to be, or I try to be really present with what's happening in a song, because it's not like it always is played the same way twice, especially live, where, I don't know, it's just different every night. And so I guess I try to feel where the energy is going, and then you can go in that direction. But it's a lot more feeling than thinking about the notes or the complexity of it, I guess. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it's not that difficult, but it's also like more emotional, or something about the energy makes it move in different directions depending on when you play the song, or what direction the song takes, I guess.
Okay. Now, Alan, I heard that you started playing when you were really, really young. Do you want to kind of tell me when you got into music?
Well, I don't know. I mean, it wasn't terribly young. I guess as a teenager, around the same time as I started listening to rock and roll and finding things that I liked. Sort of the idea of playing guitar and singing or writing songs or something like that came up. My father was a musician. He played drums, and well, he still does. Played drums, and growing up, there was a time other than our crappy farm, you know, there was a time where him playing drums on weekends in country bands was sort of the only income we had, and so that was around. I always knew that people, you know, real people played music, and so the stuff I heard on the radio and, you know, would read about in magazines, it seemed reachable, and so I guess it sort of was. I didn't feel that I was necessarily a very good musician, or that I learned very quickly, or had any gift for it, as much as I just kind of always had the sense that you know, if you had something in you that needed to be let out, you know, you could do it. There's nothing stopping you, and it's just as legitimate as anything else that anybody has said, or you know, or how many people have heard it or not, you know. So I don't know. Yeah, I'm starting to get a little out there. Sorry, it's late.
It's okay.
But I don't know. Yeah, this was the late 70s, early 80s and stuff. So, you know, I grew up in northwest Minnesota. It was fairly not sheltered, but you know, this was before everybody had MTV and cable and I guess the same things, but so there was just sort of music was sort of this, you know, the real world, or the city, or the where things came from seemed really far away, and you'd only get little hints of what was going on, you know, an article in a magazine about punk rock, or you know, a picture in this book that my dad had of a studio and stuff like that. But yeah, by the time I went to college, I guess I'd had played guitar for a little while and really believed in, you know, indie rock, or not. It wasn't even called indie rock back then. It was just DIY. I believed in punk rock. I believed that in let's start a band and change people's minds, you know, and we don't care if nobody likes it. So I don't know. Yeah, that's how it got going, and that was a while ago.
Just a couple of years. So, Gaelynn, I had you on the show earlier with the Snow Barn. Has that answer changed?
How I got started?
Yes.
No, the answer has not changed. No, I just guess music has always been really, really prevalent in my family. And my dad is a genius and started making me sing back melodies to him when I was like 2. And so he would sing a melody, la 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 la, and then he'd have me sing it back to him. And I am positive that's how I got a good ear, because I was really young. And then I started violin when I was 10, and didn't really thought I was going to be in the Philharmonic, which did not happen. But it's always just been something that sticks around. I don't know. Violin is weird because I love it a lot, but it keeps taking these different forms. I don't know. Every few years, it's something that I'm doing that's different, and I really like that. But it's a constant, and it's the only time I guess I feel where really in tune or relaxed or something is when I'm playing, and so I really like that. It's always been able to do that for me. So, but it's always different styles of music, it seems.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so.
All right, sounds good. Now, with your other projects that you have going on, was it just kind of, you know, messing around in the garage and you didn't really think it would kind of go anywhere? Did you ever really want to play shows? I'm thinking maybe when LOW started out and when Snow Barn kind of started out too.
I don't know.
Yeah. Do you want to go first?
I don't know. Yeah, we just started out with an idea between it being Mim and I, who were married and a pretty good friend of ours. We just wanted to do some stuff together. We'd been talking about music and some things we liked about music and some things that we thought were interesting about certain extremes of music, and so we tried it and thought we'd do 1 or 2 shows and have fun with our friends, and that was about it.
Yeah, and I guess for me about 6 years ago I started playing with this guy named Andy Gable, and we did folk bluegrass music, but that's when I got a lot better at playing along with what someone else was doing, and we played a bunch of shows for a couple of years actually. It was pretty fun, and then he moved to Colorado, which was sad. But we that kind of sparked an interest in playing with people and performing. I did theater as a child, but I didn't really like theater. But I realized I loved performing, and so it was something that I really liked to do a lot. So then, I don't know, I didn't really play around too much with a particular band after Andy moved for a couple of years. I would sit in with people, and I got good at playing with different types of people, but not finding my own niche. And then Ari and I met each other, and we played, and we really had fun. And then, like, about 4 months after that is when Alan called. And then we started playing, and they're really different, but I get a lot out of both of them. I really like it. It's kind of fun to play different styles. That's what the side project thing is weird, because nothing's really a side project, because everything fills a different niche in musically, you know? You can't really compare anything, so it's kind of fun to have more than one thing going on at the same time, which is something I had never done before Alan called. I was like, oh, 2 bands. Okay. I could probably swing that, but it's been fun, so.
Is that kind of hard to do, balancing 2 different bands, or?
I think working is the harder thing to do, and playing in bands at the same time. No, it's not that bad. It's kind of awesome that Alan's in other stuff, because he'll go out of town for a month, and then I'll have a month to do other stuff, and then he'll come back, and then we'll do shows, and I don't know, it works out. I can't speak for Alan. I don't know what you think about balancing lots of things, but it's always fun.
It's going fine so far.
Yep. As long as you're enjoying it, balancing isn't the focus, you know? It's just, it kind of fits in. So.
All right, sounds good. Now, did you recorded this album at Sacred Heart?
No. In my living room.
In your living room?
Yes.
Oh. Do you want to tell me about that experience a little bit?
Yeah, I don't know. We rehearse in Gaelynn's living room, and it's real comfortable, and and the sun's coming through, and just kind of has the right feeling. Got a wood floor, and long fireplace on the other end, and I don't know. We look out at the birds and the neighbors across the street, and it seemed about as good as any place to record, I guess. And nowadays with computers and stuff, you can pretty much in one bag over your shoulder carry a whole studio, and so yeah, I'd bring my computer, we'd set up a couple mics and play, and just kept recording rehearsals for a while until we had a few takes that were really good, and the songs that Gaelynn sings, there's a couple songs in there that she sings that are we did some multi-tracking there. We played it, and then she would overdub the vocals and some backup vocals and stuff. But it was very, very simple. Pretty much most everything was just the 2 of us playing live together in her living room, and then picking out the stuff that wasn't horrible.
Yep. Pretty much.
Do you find that simple is better comparatively to, say, Sacred Heart?
Well, Sacred Heart isn't so much. It's not so much an issue of simple or not simple. It's a different atmosphere. I mean, it's a big old high ceiling church, and it's got a certain weight and a certain air to it, and the recording studio there is pretty extensive. It can take whatever you throw at it, but I don't know. There's definitely a convenience to doing it at the house, but again, I wouldn't have done it if it hadn't already just felt like, well, this is a good spot. We feel comfortable. It's in the right vibe. I mean, a lot of time, a good recording session takes, that kind of feel. You gotta feel good about the place. It's gotta be something that resonates with what you're trying to do, and sometimes it's your living room, sometimes it's a big old church, and sometimes it's your garage.
It's totally different. I mean, we played at Sacred Heart once, and that was really awesome too, but the recording felt, I don't know, it was comfortable, for sure.
I never heard it, but I never heard the recording, but...
Of Sacred Heart?
No.
Oh, no, I mean the recording in our living room was comfortable.
Right. Yeah.
Sacred Heart was a totally different vibe. That would have been.
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah.
It's fun to play there. It's definitely, as you'd imagine, the reverberation kind of lends itself to a lot of what we do.
Mm-hmm. Do you guys have a favorite song on the album?
I guess as far as the instrumentals go, I really like Paul. Sorry to Wake You Like This, which we just shorten when we're talking about it. We just call it Paul, but it's to a dear friend of ours who we've woken up
Many a
a
time.
few times with our late morning rehearsals.
Or
but,
late night. He goes
But
night.
yeah, he's put up with a lot. Deserved a song named after him. But that song, probably on the recording, it's probably of all the other songs. It's probably the most spontaneous of all the other ones. I mean,
Yeah.
that was one that just happened, and we happened to have the mics up. That one probably says most everything for me.
Sounds good. What do you guys have in the works next? Touring? Another album coming out?
Well, we have some shows coming up here. We've taken a shot at playing in Minneapolis here this next month, and 1 or 2 shows, and we'll probably play around town more. We got a bunch of songs that we might try to record as well, but we'll see what happens. We're looking for more opportunities, but we'll see what happens.
And then if somebody wants to contact you for a show, or like you guys have a Facebook page. Is there a website or anything else?
No, just the old Facebook here. Gaelynn has got it down, man.
I'm the Facebook master.
Yep.
But, I mean, there's contact information on there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, someday. I mean, it's kind of, it's weird because 10 months is a long time, but it's also not a long time. So we're just kind of going at the rate that seems appropriate. So having a big website right now doesn't make a ton of sense yet. But who knows what'll happen in the future. But yeah, that's how you get in touch with us, I guess.
Well, thank you guys so much for coming in. It's a little late, but thanks again. And
No probs.
Yeah.
It's late night music sometimes.
Yeah, once in a while.
there you go. And now, Gaelynn, you said that you had a show on the 18th
Yep.
coming up?
That's at the 7th Street entry in Minneapolis.
Okay.
That's going to be a lot of fun. I've never played in Minneapolis before. I think Alan might have once or twice before, but, you know.
Love it.
Good. So, yeah, we're going to do that. And then Thirsty Pagans after that. I don't know. We'll be around.
All right. Sounds good. Well, I wish you the best of luck in Minneapolis
Thanks.
next week. And hope to see you guys around town. Hope that a new record comes out. I know I love this one. And thank you so much for coming in.
Yeah, thanks.
No probs. Thank you. Have a good night.
Yeah, you too. Have a good night.